This is me. Not in shape yet. Moving my way up. Crescent Beach. That's what you're looking at right now, and soon we're going to be going up to the complete opposite. That's right. We're going to, I gotta look at this place, Giant's Head Mountain Park. So I'm going to go from waterfront to mountaintop, and this will take me about 30 minutes, and I guess you're going to see what it's like. By the way, beautiful beach down here, nice little drive, bit of a more I guess older or traditional community. Now by getting up to the peak, I'm out here in Summerland. I ought to be able to see what it's like from both perspectives. This is Giant's Head Mountain Park trail map. So basically, if you're looking at this, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different types of trails or connector trails. There's a roadway, the Grind Trail, 1.6 kilometers, elevation 275 meters, rating difficult. East Ridge Trail is 3 kilometers, 335 meter elevation, rating difficult. What do you think? I think, why not? I'll try the Grind. And so I'm parked out here. I'll find out if it's all opened up and ready to roll, or if there's any real restrictions on it. And we will just enjoy. So away I go. Up, up, and away. So that's a little view of how it all starts off. Well, looks like pretty straightforward. And I'm gonna enjoy this. So an information piece on this. I'm at the lower parking lot. So guess I'm gonna find out how fast I can cover 1.6 kilometers uphill. Well, these little adventures gonna start getting rid of some excess weight I've been developing. And away we go. I said I wanted to come up here, and there's no point in starting something and not finishing it. So I think I'm just within the time frame that it park opens, and can't really say a whole lot yet, but already you can see a view. And I'll say also that when it comes to biking, definitely not a hard trail to deal with. So right now I'm on the road, obviously. This is, I'm figuring, the Grind. So it's looking like this is going to be a bit of a workout, which is okay. If I'm right, what I'm looking at right now on the trail map is the grind. Not much of a warm-up. Didn't stretch a lot. Should do more stretches. But from here on in, we're going to see what we're going to see. So, what can I think of? Well, I'm going to talk and walk and hike. We'll find out. I think this is the time where I should have shifted to one of those cameras that you sort of just clip to your vest and away you go. But I'm doing it this way. And there's no if, but, or maybe. Huffing and puffing will be a part of this. As I said, I haven't had my morning coffee, which I don't have all the time. And it is a little after 8, and I've decided to climb this as my morning exercise routine. Well, sometimes I like my shortcuts, so there is the trail, which is just a little easier, but I'll try different techniques. Oh my. When I was younger and in better shape, I did not huff and puff this much. So there's a bit of everything you're seeing, and this is me. Not in shape yet. Moving my way up. And just to give you an idea that not everything is steps, this is more like what I'm going to be dealing with. So I think I can say my body is going to start saying, seriously, why are you doing this to me? My only response is, if I want to climb some more mountains and do some more high energy activities, I better get myself into better shape. That's all there is to it. So, yeah, I'm going to do some pausing, some stopping, because I've actually quite a long day ahead of me. It'll be an interesting day, but it'll be long. So you can't get demoralized realizing you're heading for that. You still have this ahead, and I came from where that water is. Now mind you, a certain section of that I drove. Times like this, I'm going, I have got to get myself, one, better in shape, but two, maybe I should pack up my bike, utilize it a little bit more. So, more equipment. But as you saw when I threw everything into my vehicle, it'll be a little tight to throw a bike in there and make it work. That'd be more something I'd have to throw in, rack it onto the back or on the top rather than just throw it inside. Of course, if I had less stuff, I could throw it inside. Well, still nice. Making progress. Step by step. Beautiful. The old funny little saying, you know, never give up. Although, there are times, quite candidly, it's okay to give up. But in this case, I've set myself a goal. I'd like to reach it. And the good news is, it's downhill from there. Now I think if I had taken the less steep approach, I would right now not be huffing and puffing as much. So you might ask, why? Of all those trails, did you pick the one that was difficult as your beginning? Well, I have a limited amount of time. I really like to get to my destination quickly. And I just thought it was an interesting trail, so why not? And now, as I huff and puff, part of my body is starting to say, well, this is interesting. Oh, it's changed. It's no longer the grind. It's the grin. So, I better make a grin. That's right. It's not a grind. It's a grin. Grin Barrett. I'm at 300 meters. Okay. That's one perspective. Is it a typo? I don't know. If it's not, I can grin and bear it. I can find myself a way to enjoy this process. And when I get back, I'm gonna want a drink of water. And by the way, because this is in Peachland and Summerland and Kelowna, just take into consideration, when it's summer, it's hot. So I'd probably recommend to most that if you want to take this little trip, bring some rehydration. So I'm coming to a juncture that says friendly, the ant, or the grind, where someone's taken off the D and made it the grin. Good for you. Nice to see some humor. This is the view so far, what progress I've made. Give myself a second. Now, if there was a way to do it, I would call on you and say, hey, which one do you feel you want me to take? The one that'll be nicer to my body, or the one that isn't? And then I'd find out who are real friends and who are not. Or who are sort of like the coach. Say, you can do it. Give your very best. Don't give up. Well, in this case, forward on the grind. No, grind. The grin. So, I started with the grin. I started with a grin, and now I continue. If at times you find that I'm out of sequence, or I should say, the camera angles don't look all that hot, it's just the way it is. I'm having to do this, hoping that how I've set up the camera is working well. And that's about it. So I'll take a little shortcut here, a little steeper, but a little more direct. And they have posts everywhere. Well, I shouldn't say everywhere, but at 400 meters, which means for that little bit, I covered 100 meters with elevation. And the road, if I was taking that way down there, I can see why people might prefer that, especially when they open it up. So I'm not going to stop too many times, or at least try to keep it to a minimum, because, well, if I stop too often, I'll lose my momentum. At the same time, I have to stop enough so that my body just doesn't say no and no. That's nice. A little variety, something that's level. That's always good. So, upward and onward. We'll see how this all works out. Now, I was talking about doing some mountain climbing, and as you hear how much I'm breathing heavy, I obviously have to lose a little bit of weight to me and, well, strengthen my, what do you call it? Cardio. Yes, cardio. In order to do that, I basically have to find more time to do stuff like this. Because, unlike being in a gym, not that, you know what, if you're enjoying a gym, you're enjoying a gym. Not the point I'm trying to make. But there's something about just traveling through some semi-tough, I mean, I've got a trail here. I mean, yes, some of the trail's a little worn, but I still have a trail. I'm not really having to cut my own trail. So the level of difficulty is not extreme. And I can grin at this, but in order for me to get ready for the more energetic and definitely stuff that isn't going to be 1 point something kilometers, I'm going to have to build up some more strength. That's one good thing about doing some information and a little bit of research on things like space exploration, because even just how I'm breathing right now indicates I'm not qualified for the actual space component of such a program. I'd be more of a person working here down on Earth, because I would not have the strength physically to necessarily keep on going. So you are here. Let's see. I have made it. I would have been so happy if they were saying I was halfway. They are not. I have, if you can see me here, or at least you'll see my finger. I started from here, gone through here, I've made it up to here. That red dot, that is where I'm supposed to get to. I haven't made it halfway. Now here's where I start going, do I have to do this? Well, you know what? I guess this is one of those cases where if you or friends appreciate my effort to share this little adventure, and in this case, you'd like me to get my health a little better so that I can do some more interesting adventures without hurting myself, or at least minimizing the risk, then yeah, why not? Support it, like it, make it possible. As it is, I am going to take advantage of my first seating opportunity. Yes, I am going to enjoy it because I'm heading up there. So from this vantage point, this is what I see. And it does give you quite the view. And if you are trying to work out your cardio, yeah, there's definitely stuff to be said about coming out here. So there we go, looking around, and I won't be able to point exactly the way I want to because I can't really see, but right over there, I'm going to try to focus on it. Do you see a rock formation that looks interesting? To me, it does. Do you see it? It's flat. It's steep. It looks like a wall. And I can tell you this, that is not human-made. But wow, it looks quite interesting. So, in the future, I'll go up there because I didn't see it before. But sitting down on my little bench that I have deservedly earned, I think. After this, I am thinking of a museum I'd like to see. I've got the time for it. Now this, I think, let's see, it's about 8:30 when I started, and I imagine I'm not going to accomplish all this within an hour, not with stopping at times and such, but we've got to continue. So, looking at the clock, because I can see a clock here, it says that I've basically been going at this for about 24 minutes. And I'm really hoping that even though the map says less than halfway, that somehow it feels not as long as it looked on the map. And again, I keep on telling myself, I will be going downhill from here. So from that perspective, not bad. I can definitely feel that my overall pep in my step is not as much there. That's okay. So what are the things that I learned from a conversation? Well, you know, I find myself always, maybe part of it is because I'm in these environments where other people who are trying to get away or relaxing or exploring, we're sort of in the same world. And I know at some point I'll start doing what I try to call a side-by-side interview. The reason why I say that is I prefer, usually friends and such, we're having a conversation, I'm not always sitting directly across from them. I'm usually sitting beside them or somewhat at angles beside them. And, you know, sort of indicates we're both on the same side. And I find I'm quite relaxed. And sadly, I've noticed a lot of interviews today seem to be very much geared on each side being forced to, well, not really forced, but they're in an environment where they're being encouraged. One side is to try to get that gotcha moment, or maybe that piece of information that makes them as an interviewer stand out. At the same time, usually the one who's being interviewed is trying to get whatever whatever message or product or service or information that they're trying to present through. And then the station, of course, they want viewership. So they want action. Give me content. Give me that bite, that sound bite, so that this interview can get the viewings, and then the talent can get more shows, has a bigger budget, and the person who is doing the interview, being interviewed, well, they get attention to whatever it is they're trying to direct attention to a larger audience. So audience driven. Yes, you audience. But, you know, there's got to be a place where you can have, and I'm sure some others do this. It's impossible I'm the only person considering it from this perspective, that there are others trying to do interviews where it's more of a team approach. Everyone's trying to make everyone else relaxed. Everyone understands that there's things that have to be accomplished for the betterment of everyone involved. And so there's a certain level of cooperation. But that really requires some empathy, also some discretion. And that is something that should be considered. I think for a moment, I'm going to give you a view of where I'm going, where I've come from. All right. Some of the flowers. So I am trying to get past some elevation because at some point I have to go to the next adventure, and I personally had not factored in exactly how long this was going to take, but I figured it was going to take a while, and I know I've got enough time to do it, and so we shall together. And already, I mentioned it, I found that interesting rock formation. That was interesting. I found out a little bit about city planning and how there's all this effort to plan out of the challenges that are taking place in cities and towns. And, you know, there was an example where I was told just today on the beach of a community, and it lost a major store, very huge store, and well known, and it simply couldn't financially do it or whatever reasons. They said no. And so now this community has one of the biggest draws for shopping gone. And so not only are the other businesses that were counting on it now somewhat stuck, but no one knows, even from a community perspective, how to fill that huge space. And until they do, it just becomes a cost to the community. So, you know, how do you plan for that? And as this individual said, there was nothing that anybody, even the owners of the store, had really seen based on historical information that would see them closing down so suddenly. And yet it did. So I'm at my next, so the challenges of planning, right? When even the ones you're counting on to plan don't have a plan or haven't got the plan necessary for when the plan doesn't work. So here I am, next little stop, taking advantage of a nice little bench. You might have noticed I'm not competing with anyone. And I was told that in Peachland, not for every industry, but for certain ones, that season really doesn't kick off heavy duty until about middle of June, all the way to August. So I'll give you another view here. There we go. And it is, as far as the hike goes, living up to the view aspect. Now, there is that little, right in the middle of your screen, that geological formation that just flat out fascinates me. So I really want to see that one. And by the way, there was nothing that I have seen anywhere. And I've allowed Google to search and, you know, done the basics that even mentions that place at all. So I wonder how many other people have seen that formation and don't even know if it even has a name, or how you even get to it, or if you can get to it. So, well, we'll see. There we go. I think I'm starting to get closer. Do another view of my surroundings. Well, I am having a bit of a grin doing this, and I personally am really looking forward to getting to the top, because then I think I'm going to take another route back. In fact, I am going to take another route back. If I was a skateboarder, this is what I'd do. I'd throw a skateboard on my pack sack. I'd hike all the way up here, and then I'd skate this all the way down. So, I guess what I need for that idea, because I am not going to learn skateboarding just for the sake of this. And quite frankly, it takes some effort to learn that skill. I will have to find someone who is sufficiently skilled at skateboarding. I'm probably going to need somebody else who is sufficiently good at basically video of the skateboarder, or he just puts the video on and away he goes, or her or she goes, whatever, is they'll have to skate it and record it, and that would be about it. I guess that would be the skateboard version of this story, but without the right support resources. And in this case, I need somebody who really enjoys skateboarding, especially downhill. And I'll probably likely include a few other locations where that skill can be put to use, different perspective. So we'll see. That'll be another possible Jason Expeditions. Another intersection, and I think somebody's played with the names again. There's the Upper Goon, and then now it's changed back to the Grind. And you know what? Not to speak ill of the Grin, but when you start getting to this section, well, if you're in as bad a shape as I am, yeah, at times it fluctuates between a Grin and a Grind. And look at that. Just to encourage me, it's gone back to the Grin. I needed that. I needed to hear some humor. It's like sometimes you just need a joke. Like, what do you call a rabbit with fleas? Bugs Bunny. There you go. And if you groaned at that, well, try it on a kid and see if you can handle the groan when the kid is laughing away, going, ah, that's funny. You know, time and place for all these little pieces of humor. So I'm nearly there, one step at a time. So, morning. So, I actually got to meet somebody here. And by the way, they won. They got here first. They must have come up here earlier, or quite frankly, they moved faster than me. Either or, sort of nice to know I'm not totally alone up here. But for the vast majority of this little hike, nobody else. But I could see if a person was living in the neighborhood and they did this daily, I mean daily, that it's hard to imagine them not building up some strength in the body. And no, I'm not cheating. I could have taken the road right there. Of course, it would be nice. See, road, just a little relief. But no, I am going to keep on the trail so that I can say at the end of the day, I actually was on this grin. By the way, what a nice thing for them to do. They put actual air pumps up here. Of course, for garbage, but you know, that's a nice piece of consideration. And yeah, it would be nice to do the friendly giant. I am here. So I'm here. I gather, actually technically I'm here where the garbage cans are. I am not garbage. And I just got this little bit. I'm saying this little bit because I want to make it sound like it's friendly. And I'll be at the top. So here's sort of the last hoorah. And it does prove that whether you want to skateboard or bike, I'm not going to say, I mean, it's a lot of low gear to bike up here. And I would imagine you're going to take the road. If there's somebody saying, hey, I'll do it in a BMX or some other mountain bike and ride up, I'm not going to be as impressed on riding down. I'm sure riding down would also be quite a challenge. It would be an adventure. But to do it both ways, to actually ride up, they should have a race. Here's an idea. A marathon of a race. Everyone starts at the very bottom and they can use the road all the way up as far as they can go. That sounds like a race, right? But how about we make it really interesting? No, everyone comes down and you do it in groups because this trail is quite narrow. Or you give each individual an exact time, maybe 2-minute, 3-minute, 5-minute intervals between each contestant. And they're timed to bike all the way on the grind up. So I'll call it the grind. And they've got to basically, without carrying their bike. If they have to get off it, they can get off it, but the wheels have to stay on the ground. And they can walk, jog up with the bike. They get really tired. And they are timed until they get to the top. Then, once at the top, because I like to think of having some fun. Some of these sports are so brutal. So